Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. It really super helps out the channel, so thank you for doing so. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now today we're covering the Am I the Devil subreddit. The subreddit where the person is most definitely the arsehole in every story, and they don't seem to realize it themselves. And we're starting with my 1972 pony, who says, am I the arsehole for using money we earmarked for our 6-month-old's college fund to buy back the exact 1972 Ford Bronco I owned as a teenager? So, how to begin with this? I realize that on paper I am totally the arsehole, but when you dig deeper into my motivations, I'm hoping it's more of a grey area than anything else, and maybe even I did the right thing. When I was a teenager, my dad bought me a classic 1972 Ford Bronco. It was my true passion, and I don't recall a memory from high school that somehow doesn't involve that truck. Plus, my dad and I would spend hours and hours working on it together, and we went through that especially father-son rough patch when I was a teenager. It was always that Bronco that brought us back together. I made a huge mistake and sold the truck when I turned 19, and my dad died of a heart attack 2 months later, so while not logical, I've always felt a karmic connection between the two events. We had a baby in early February. She is our first and the light of my life. My wife is doing well, but she's back at work and she's realized that she hates all the daycares we've tried and really wants to be a stay-at-home mum, and plus, she's still very hormonal from delivery, lack of sleep and breastfeeding, so she's having a rough time and is angry a lot. I guess I need to say this. 2 weeks ago, I was driving through our town's warehouse district and saw a Bronco that was pretty beat up but resembled mine. I stopped just for nostalgia's sake, and the owner came out and let me take a look inside. My dad and I had glued a wheat penny under the dash as sort of security measure, so I just sort of checked, and goddamn, if it wasn't my Bronco. I'd asked him if he ever considered selling it. He said actually someone was on the I-25 as we spoke from Colorado to buy it for $21,000. I freaked out and asked him if I could buy it right then and there for $23,000. He said if I could come up with the cash, yes. I'd been procrastinating setting up a 529, so I had $12,000 in savings that my wife's parents had given us. I maxed out my credit card to Venmo, and my mum brought down a check for $4,000, and I fucking drove away in my old car. It was like a dream come true, like a literal dream come true. It needs a lot of work I can't afford right now, but it's mine, like in my driveway mine. Again, I can't even describe what a joy this is. My wife and her parents are furious with me. They feel I was deceptive, that a real man would have sacrificed anything and everything so my wife could go stay at home with the kids, and that's setting aside that they gave us the money for a college fund. My point is my daughter is only 6 months old. We have 18 years to set up a college fund for her. But this Bronco means everything to me, and if I wouldn't have acted, it would have been gone forever. Now it can be the same connection between me and my kids. To me, it's the literal meaning of happiness. Like I said, on paper, arsehole. Whole story, grey area. How do you guys see it? So we have some edits where Opie's replying to some comments, etc., which we'll cover in a moment. Now before I say this, because come on now, but finding that vehicle, and I'm just thinking about a car my dad used to drive when he was younger, and there was always embedded in the top of the gear stick, like was an old 50p, and I never got to drive it or work on it or anything like that, but I love that car just because my dad loved it so much and it reminded me of him. So finding this car out of nowhere that represented his dad, his childhood, and probably loads of grief at the same time must have felt like an absolute miracle. But how you paid for it? You know, he didn't spend some savings that were for something like this. He spent $12,000 that his wife's parents gave specifically for their granddaughter's future without discussing it with his wife. On top of that, you're maxing out a credit card, borrowed another $4,000 from his mother, and did all this while his wife was desperately trying to find a way to stay home because she wasn't comfortable with daycare. He's traded his family's financial security for this purchase. There is no grey area here. You are the arsehole, either way. And saying my daughter is only 6 months old and we have 18 years to set up a college fund, that kind of logic is ignoring that they also have 18 years to save for anything else. The college fund existed because family had already contributed to it. Once you spent that money, replacing it isn't guaranteed either. And now you're also carrying credit card debt and loans from other people on top of it. And that's not even talking about that the car needs work itself. Bloody hell, mate. Snossage Fest says, Jesus dude, yes, you're the arsehole. Who spends 23k without so much as speaking to their spouse first? Arseholes do. Commenter says, wow, I have an almost 7-month-old and your post literally ruined my day. You're the arsehole for this line alone. Quoting, she's still very hormonal from delivery, lack of sleep and breastfeeding. She's having a rough time and is angry a lot. And then says, really? She's not angry because her husband is the type of person who blew a fucking college fund on a junked out car. Wow, this one really affected me. I'm going to leave this and try not to check back in because I'm heartbroken for your wife and daughter. Commenter quotes the $12,000 in savings that the wife's parents had given and then says, your in-laws gave you guys $12k so you all could get a head start in life as a family, and you blew the lot on top of an additional $7k in credit card debt, all without a single word to your wife and the mother of the light of my life. You're the arsehole. One more commenter who says, Jesus Christ, you're the arsehole. You're not only the arsehole, you'll be lucky if you don't end up divorced. I would have left you that day because I would absolutely never be in a relationship with anyone who, 1, made a purchase of that amount without discussing it first. 2, maxed out their credit card for a memory without discussing it first. 3, borrowed money from other people on a whim without discussing it first. 4, put our daughter's financial future at risk. Honestly, 4 would be the smallest issue because, as you say, she's young, but the complete financial and communication betrayal, your utter selfishness and disregard for your family, and your amazing levels of disrespect for your wife would mean I would never be able to trust you again. You're a terrible husband, father, and partner. Grovel until your knees bleed, sell the stupid Bronco, and hope she doesn't run fast and far with your kid. So after all these comments, Opie came in with her edits and said, I had no idea this would go so one way. I guess I messed up. I talked with my mum and she basically is going to buy the Bronco from me in order to refill the college fund and pay off the credit card. The 4k will be a gift and she's going to give me whatever I need to restore it. She's always been awesome to me and she'd rather the money be spent now than wait for me and my sister's inheritance. Sorry to get everyone so mad at me. I was thinking with my emotions and acted badly. Edit 2. Are the mummy bailed you out comments really necessary? I found a solution and it's coming from me and my sister's inheritance. Just not like I'm not paying for it on my own eventually. Oh god. Edit 3. My inbox is so buried I have no idea what the icons are that where gold used to be. Does anyone know what those are? Edit 4. I'm getting a 403 error whenever I try to respond. Not sure what that means, but I'm still reading because honestly I'm afraid to go home. Even with the great news, I know my wife is going to be upset for one reason or another. Oh god, my palm is on my forehead right now. Edit 5. Does anyone know what 403 error means? I messaged the moderators, but they must be busy. Calls out a commenter and says, since you're a mod, do you know? I can't respond to any posts and get the status 403 whenever I try. Thanks. And edit in the morning. I couldn't figure out why I was getting so many privates, but I guess this must be locked now. I didn't tell my wife that my mum bailed me out and lied and said I found a buyer for the Bronco. I'll figure out how to cross that bridge when I get there, but my wife was so relieved that I'd come to your senses. I don't want to disappoint her. It's going to take all my lying skills to pull this one off over the next few years. I really want an update on that at some point, please. I want an update just because I want to know how he's going to get away with lying about this Bronco that your mum suddenly owns, that conveniently you and your dad owned as a child. Bloody hell. And now you're going to be lying to your wife about it forever, basically. That's not going to go well, is it? Holy shit. What do you guys make of this one? Let us know your thoughts and let's move on to another story. Now our next story comes from Vain Wife Throwaway. And it says, am I the arsehole for not complimenting my wife so that she won't become vain? Context. My wife, 29 female, and I, 31 male, have been together for 10 years. We share 3 children, 9, 7, 5. My wife was never someone to really dress up or to put much thought into her looks. She's always been beautiful but never did much to highlight it until recently. She went through this crisis of feeling like she didn't have a personality outside of being a mum. Something like that. So for the last 2 years, she started traveling more, joining different groups, dressing really nicely, wearing makeup. I never realized how much of a difference it would make, but people treat her completely different. She's constantly getting complimented, told she should be in magazines. She'd come home and happily tell me about the random stranger who was so nice to her. She randomly gets gifts. Lady at her job bought her a book series she was interested in. She gets hit on. When we go out, all these dudes want to buy her drinks. Even my family has noticed, and all of a sudden, it seems like they're wondering how I ended up with her. Honestly, it's a bit overwhelming for me, and something I'm just not used to. It's kind of become annoying. Anyways, she was going out with friends and she asked me how she looked. I just said fine. She seemed disappointed with this. My sister was over and commented that I should hype her up. I said, why should I when the world already does? That I don't want her thinking too highly of herself and becoming more vain. My sister looked shocked and said that's fucked up. Said that's low-key abusive and I'm an arsehole. I think she's overthinking it but decided to get outside opinions. So, am I the arsehole? The top commenter said to OP, you're the arsehole dude. If your wife doesn't think or know or hear you express that you think she is beautiful, then what's going to stop her from leaving you for someone who does tell her that she's beautiful and treats her wonderfully? Your wife is beautiful, and you thought she was great even without all the makeup and the new style and the new interests. Now she has all of those things, and what? Do you feel left behind? Do you take any interest in her new interests? Travel at all with her? What are you doing to make sure your wife feels seen? Or are you just bitter that she is finally realizing she's beautiful and interesting and worthy of all this friendship and kindness from others? I'm wondering where you stand in all of this. I think she's awesome for taking charge of herself and her life. She didn't feel like she was being seen or acknowledged as anything other than mum. And did you do anything to make her feel like the loved, beautiful wife that she is? And she endeavored to change that. And it's bearing beautiful fruit. Your wife is awesome. Another one says, that's a great strategy. Treat her as if she doesn't matter and you don't see her as attractive, so she can constantly be reminded that other people out there who do care about her and do find her attractive. Then come back in a year or so and let us know how it works out. In the meantime, think about how you want the custody arrangements to work. You're the arsehole, of course. KBD says you're the arsehole. My gods, your wife is finding herself and investing time in herself to feel good. You don't like this because she's getting outside validation. Wow, you're not supportive. Your wife is beautiful. Out of everyone in the world, you should be the one telling her that every day. You should be falling at her feet, telling her how much you love her, and that you are happy she's becoming happier and finding more fulfillment. Don't be a Debbie Downer. Go down this path and your wife will realize she can do better than a man who needs to keep his wife down so she doesn't feel too beautiful. And one more comment who says you're the arsehole. Your wife deserves her self-worth. How disgusting to want to break a woman down because you're jealous she's doing well. She's your wife. Doesn't it reflect well on you that she's living her best life? Maybe try working on yourself so it's not such a mystery she's with a sulking and manipulative man she married. Men hit on her? Congrats. The mother of your children has still got it, and she's going home with you. People buy her presents? How nice is it that she's got good friends and fulfilling relationships? They tend to involve gift giving. She looked good in that outfit. Tell her, make her smile, build her up so she feels the warmth of a healthy, supportive relationship in your home. She deserves one, and it sounds like she could get it elsewhere if she wants to. But she's hoping to get it with you, so maybe do both of you a favor. But I'm just going to turn this one straight to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's move on to another story. Now our next story comes from a throwaway account and says, I, 28 female, made a joke with my husband, 29 male, and it's costing me my marriage with a man I truly love. I need help fixing it. Created the account a couple of minutes ago to get advice. A joke I made is spiraling out of control and I'm losing a man I truly love over it. My husband and I have been married for 4 years now. I truly do love him with everything I have. I can't see a life without him. I took some stupid advice from some of my girlfriends regarding a joke that they have done with their husbands or boyfriend. The joke is basically telling your partner you want to break up or that you want a divorce. I never wanted to do it and thought it was cruel to do, especially to someone you love, but I was convinced after they kept pestering me about it, as I was the only one that hasn't done it yet out of the 5 of us. They further convinced me about it when they told me the reactions their partners had afterwards. Stupidly, I did it last week, and my husband's reactions wasn't what I thought it would be. Honestly thought that he would try and talk to me or beg or make suggestions like my friends' partners have done, but he didn't. We had dinner and was watching a movie when I told him I'm not happy anymore and I think we should get a divorce. He looked at me for a couple of seconds and I swear it looked like something broke in his eyes. He got up, walked into our bedroom and within 10 minutes came out with a bag and walked out of the house without saying a word to me. I tried to stop him, especially after seeing him with his bag packed, and told him it was just a joke and I didn't mean it, but he basically just brushed me off and walked out. I tried to get a hold of him. Messages, calls, emails, video chats, but he isn't answering me at all. I talk to his friends, but none of them want to tell me where he is, when, or if they answer me. I went to his work, but they refused me entry into the building. I've tried his parents, but they don't want to get involved as well, as with his siblings. The only message I got back was from his sister telling me, joke or not, I fucked up. I've sent too many messages about it being a joke, and even sent screenshots of my conversations with my girlfriends about the joke as proof that it was a joke and that I'm not backtracking all of a sudden, but nothing. My friends didn't have any real advice and told me to just give him time and that he will get over it. Everything came down on me yesterday and I was served with actual divorce papers. It felt like someone slapped me in the face and hit me and continued to hit me. I was and still am in so much pain. I frantically tried to get a hold of him, but all I got back was he has nothing to say and I should talk to his lawyer. How can I get the man I love back? I don't want to lose him. I made a stupid joke. I know that, and now it's breaking my world apart. Edit. Already had questions in my DMs about this. We've had no issues that I know of. We were laughing the whole time throughout the day, had fun and everything. No fight or distance recently between us. Nothing like that at all. Everything was basically perfect. The first commenter quoted it and said, "What the actual fuck? That is not a joke. You did something spectacularly stupid and are facing the consequences for it. It honestly looks like your female friends know how ridiculously gullible you are and knew exactly how this would blow up in your face." Commenter says, "The problem isn't that he thinks you were serious and you just need to convince him it was a joke. The problem is that you joked about that in the first place. That's an insane thing to say to a spouse when you don't mean it. There are some things you just don't joke about. Now your marriage is probably over because you can't just tell your friends no. You knew it was cruel to do. You did it anyway. Maybe it's time to do some deep thinking about why you crumbled so easily to peer pressure to fuck with your marriage." Commenter says, "You're 28, not 14. This TikTok crap is paying dividends though, isn't it? Yes, you fucked up. No, you likely can't fix this. It was an incredibly immature and callous joke with zero punchline, created and copied for internet clout. Get therapy. I don't mean that as an insult. You have a pretty massive self-inflicted trauma to deal with. Plus, you need help with maturity, respect for your partner, and not being so influenced by peers to do stupid things. If you want to have any success in future relationships, you need to start that work now. If you reach out through your lawyers to let your husband know that you're sorry, you take full responsibility for the shit show. Stop blaming your friends and starting therapy, and would like to request a child separation while you do that." Another one says, "Are you really 28? Because this is the stupidest, cruelest, most childish prank I've ever heard of. I don't even know if I believe this is real or rage bait. It seems extremely unlikely that you haven't been able to tell him that you were joking. Regardless, that's all you can do. And if he still wants to divorce you because you thought hurting him would be fun, well, fuck around and find out." And one more comment who says, "I don't get how that joke is funny. If there was other people around you, you can brush it off as a joke, but it was just the two of you. Who is supposed to find it funny? You already said before you told the joke you didn't think it was funny, but you did it anyway. There is nothing you can do. You said something awful and your husband has come to terms with the end of your marriage. Now it's your turn. Do one good thing for him, give him a good, easy divorce. I wouldn't believe you or your friends it was a joke either." And I was just with the comments, I was like, what was the actual joke here? Was the expected scenario that she says, "I want a divorce," and then he's panicking like Opie said that the other partners did, crying and begging and professing their love, and then they turn around and go, "Oh, just joking," and now everyone is supposed to laugh at that after he just had his world shattered? And it literally is a fuck around and find out moment, because he just accepted what she said as the truth. And Opie even admitted before all this that it was cruel before she was pressured into it. What a bloody wally. But what do you guys make of this one? Let us know your thoughts and let's have another story. Our next story is titled, "I anonymously criticized my friend's art because I was jealous of the attention they were getting." A few years ago, one of my friends started posting their art online. They were not famous or anything. They would post sketches, small paintings, and progress pictures. At first, I acted supportive, but the truth is that I was jealous. I'd always thought of myself as the creative one in our group, and suddenly people were complimenting them and asking if they took commissions. Instead of being happy for them, I felt replaced. I made a fake account. I left a comment saying their work looked stiff and unfinished, and that people were only being nice because they knew them personally. It was specific enough to hurt. I knew exactly where they were insecure, and I aimed there. A few days later, they stopped posting as much. When they did post, they added little captions apologizing for mistakes or saying they knew it was not very good yet. I watched that happen and still said nothing. They eventually moved on from art almost completely. I do not know if my comment was the only reason, but I know it helped push them in that direction. They never found out it was me. I still think about how easy it was for me to damage something they loved just because I could not handle someone else being praised. The thing that jumped out to me in this post, and a lot of the commenters as well, that it doesn't seem remorseful at all. They don't feel sorry that they're doing it or anything like that. It just seems like this is what I did and I don't feel sorry about it really because I could not handle someone else being praised. Quite as simple as that. And there was just so many comments just basically saying you're a bad friend, etc. That's such a wild thing to do to what was supposedly your friend. There were some other people trying to convince the OP to admit what they did. I personally can't see the poster doing that in this scenario, but bloody hell, awful thing to do to someone. Just imagine that person had created that art and maybe OP didn't do all the damage, but still, they knocked them and they knew that they knocked them and potentially maybe put them off art completely. That's really, that's devastating, it really is. But again, I'll turn this one to you guys and we're moving on to our next one from Civil Reason 1537 who says, "Am I the arsehole for telling my girlfriend she isn't allowed to go on a ski trip? My girlfriend, 31 female, and I, 33 male, have never had the same hobbies, and it's a problem because she doesn't spend much time with me over the weekends. It's not bad as in summertime because I can go hiking with her, although it is painful and brutal, and I actually hate it. But I often go because otherwise she goes with guys that she says she has been friends with for ages or alone, which is even worse. In the summer right now, she even goes in the afternoon sometimes if it's a Friday night and they finish work early. She'll drive into the mountains on a lunch break, do a bit of work at a cafe, and then as soon as she can, she gets off and she goes hiking. And obviously that means she's gone all night too, until like 9 PM usually. She had a much anticipated trip that didn't happen due to the pandemic. She, her best friend and her boyfriend, and a longtime male friend who always skis with her were planning to go skiing in Jackson Hole, but there's several other ski resorts up there. So they were going to make a whole week of it. I always wanted to spend more time with her, but every winter on the weekend she goes skiing. And I asked her to teach me, but she said she's not a good teacher and showed me some beginner programs for adults that the ski hill offers. But I don't get why she just doesn't teach me. Last January I finally decided to start learning, but she still refuses to spend the day with me. I get that it's boring for her. She's been skiing since she was like 4 years old, so she is better. But like she'll spend an hour on the greens with me and then go off on her own, and then we'll eat lunch together. Although usually she just has an energy bar, so I can tell she feels like it's a waste of time. And I asked her in January if I can be on the trip, and she told me that I can come, but it's probably a waste of time for me because I'm not good enough to really enjoy the resorts, which hurt. We thought about it, but I was like fine and decided not to go. Very recently a best friend announced that she was pregnant and decided not to go on this trip, so now it's her and a random male friend, and I'm not happy about it. After all that fighting, she said, I can come, but it's more expensive now to order the pass because the cheapest time to order was months ago. So I told her she shouldn't go because now she's asking me to fork out more money than she did for the passes. And she told me it wouldn't be that much fun anyway for me because I haven't gone to a level where I could even ski most of the resort. We thought about it for a long time. She was crying and telling me I was ruining things, and this was what she was looking forward to all year. I think she's selfish because she told me it wouldn't be much fun for me. Now she's telling me to go just because her best friend got pregnant, and I don't want her on vacation with a guy. Why can't we spend one winter indoors? Well, the first commenter says, you're the arsehole, you sound insufferable and selfish. I don't blame your girlfriend for not wanting to spend time with you. The commenter says, you're the arsehole, there's nothing wrong with her going on a trip with a platonic friend, no matter their gender, if you trust her. You clearly don't trust her, despite your repeated claims. You're either lying to yourself about trusting her, or are lying to everyone else. And Ego Teen says, you're the arsehole. Obviously, you're the arsehole. If you don't like her hobbies, then don't go. But it's ridiculous that you're trying to control her time and who she chooses to spend it with. It's ridiculous that you demand so much of her attention. Why do you need her to try to teach you? A professional ski instructor would do a much better job actually teaching you how to ski. It doesn't sound like you want to learn the hobby at all. It just sounds like you want to monopolize her time. It's wildly insulting and insecure of you to repeatedly refer to her friends of several years as random males. You should do her a favor and break up. And this one drove me a bit mad because OP complains that they don't spend enough time together, but then spends the entire post explaining why. You know, his girlfriend has a lifelong passion for hiking, skiing, outdoorsy type stuff. And instead of embracing it or actually putting in genuine effort into learning, he admits that he hates hiking, thinks it's painful and brutal, and only goes because he doesn't want to hiking with other people. And even when she encourages him to take lessons, which is honestly the best way to probably learn skiing, right? Expects her to spend the day teaching him despite her repeatedly explaining she isn't a good instructor. And the Jackson trip is where the real issue actually came out. You know, he isn't upset because she's abandoning him. He's upset because one of the women dropped out and now she'll be skiing with a male friend she's known for years. So suddenly it's gone from, I don't want to go because it'd be boring, to you're not allowed to go. And when you're using those kind of words, it's over. Just allow her to be free, mate. Simple as that for me. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being here. Truly is absolutely amazing. And hopefully I'm going to see you in the next one. Take care and much love.